Coming up in this video, what is intuition, how you are doing it wrong?
Is it a magical superpower or is it basic human instinct?
Or is it the first sign of schizophrenia?
Yeah, I'm going with that. Stop beating yourself up for not trusting yourself.
And start looking under the hood to see how it really works, because we are all superheroes. We all have intuition.
And that's what we're covering today. And for all our Zen heads in Zen Ed Academy, let us know you're here with a hashtag Zen Head for Life.
Zen Head for Life. For those of you who don't know us yet,
I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
I'm Zen Rose Garden. So in the 1980s, when I was in high school, raise your hand if y'all were in high school in the 80s kid, there was a study done to see who did better on sports betting. Men who knew the game or women who didn't necessarily know the game. So
and this is going to blow your mind.
Yes, at the end of the study, it was found that the women actually came out ahead and won more money.
Absolutely. And when they were questioned, the women said something along the lines of, "Oh, I don't know why I picked them. I just like their uniforms better. They had a better butt."
Yeah, so women were like, "I like their uniform. It's awesome. I picked them." But something was going on. So they were looking at this, whereas the men in general would overthink and just, do all
stats
this
and analyze and this and that.
So that's why they have always called it women's intuition, right? I mean, doesn't belong to women, it belongs to everybody, but we've traditionally called it women's intuition, and it can't quite define it. It just is. It's like mom's got eyes in the back of her head kind of thing, and sayings like that are talking about that intuition. It's just a knowing.
Now, the sweet spot in making important decisions in life is using logic and intuition and not getting too lost in either direction, too far in either direction.
So that topic is kind of more in depth for another day. We are going to touch on it today. I had a friend that used to say that I was a cross between a Klingon and a Vulcan, and I think that's I like that.
It's the greatest compliment in the world.
I think, yes, me from a Trekkie, right? So the Klingons act on pure instinct, and the Vulcans are like, it's all logical, but sometimes the Klingons get too cray-cray, and the Vulcans just can't have fun. So I think I would like to be a cross between a Vulcan and a Klingon. That would be my ideal Star Trek character. So today, we're talking about picking out the football uniforms in life that you like best and winning the Super Bowl of intuition.
Absolutely.
You like that? So what exactly is intuition? Is it a magical superpower, or is it basic human instinct, or is it the sign of schizophrenia coming on?
Yep.
So how do you know?
Now it's time for the good stuff.
So
the good stuff.
Here
the good stuff.
I'm doing a thing with you. I was doing a thing. Here we go.
Here we go.
We're professionals. Let's get into tip number 1. Intuition is the first primal instinct.
Yep. So intuition is the first subtle message and impulse to take action that arises from your primal animalistic instinct. Once you overthink it, though, it may be gone. The moment's passed. We think, man, if I had only followed that first impulse.
Raise your hand if you've done that and
I'll
lost.
raise all 5 of my hands.
Raise your left hand if you have done that and lost. Raise your right hand if you've done that and nailed it. Okay, right? We've done both.
Yeah.
So intuition is the simplest form of clairsentience. It is listening to your gut in the moment. Boom. It's not like your stomach cramps afterwards. That's not your intuition. That's you like, oh, that's overthinking it. Okay.
So I want to stress that it is very important to remember that often intuition is not even a fully formed thought when it comes in. It's a feeling to act that once it becomes fully formed, before you act, it often loses its power. Okay, so that it's like that, the magic.
And that's important to remember is that intuition is once it kind of becomes a fully formed thought, it starts to lose its power. So intuition isn't even a fully formed thought. It's like got it, right?
Right.
So we just saw the movie Racing in the Rain. Have you guys seen that yet? About the dog and the race car driver?
Let us know in the comments.
We're both like crying.
Bawling through the whole movie.
So there is a perfect quote from that movie that says it all. The dog is talking about, of course, all movies about dogs, the dog talks, right?
They have to talk.
The dog is talking about his owner, Danny, who is a race car driver, and how he drives by instinct and intuition and flowing in the moment. Here's the quote. Good. This is like so pivotal. The doggy says,
he says.
What I have always liked best is when he talks about having no memory.
No
memory of things he'd done just a second before, good or bad, because memory is time folding back on itself. You like that? To remember is to disengage from the present. He says racing is doing. It is being part of a moment and being aware of nothing else but that moment. Reflection must come at a later time. The great champion Julian Sabella Rosa has said, when I am racing, my mind and my body are working so quickly and so well together, I must be sure not to think, or else I will definitely make a mistake. That's describing intuition, kids. Pure gut instinct, primal intuition.
You've got to be in the moment. Yes. It's that zone. It's that sweet spot where everything flows and there is no time for thought or analyzing. Yes. Okay? That is the sweet spot. So there was one time that we were driving,
yeah.
Wasn't in a Ferrari in a racetrack.
It was in a Yaris coming home from the grocery store. Okay. You know when you're coming home from the grocery store, you like always do the same.
Follow your routine.
Right. And I was like, I want to go this way. So like impulsively went a different way and went around the block.
Literally went around the block like the long way.
And I didn't know why I was doing it. I was just like, okay, let's do this to just change it up. And
we spent about, I think we had like a 15-minute detour.
Yeah, and we just kind of went exploring in a different direction. David's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. Let's just do this. There had been a shooting on the street where we usually turn to come home at the exact moment when we would have turned home to come to the house, like on our usual routine.
So following that instinct, following that gut impulse without analyzing it, without thinking about it, without going, you know what, no, why? That's stupid. That's silly. We shouldn't take a detour right now. We both were like, okay, well, let's go up for the adventure.
So that's intuition. That's pure intuition. It's not, I wonder why. I wonder if there's something going. It's not overthinking it and then go, oh, no, you're crazy. I'll just go the same way. I go home, save time.
Yeah.
We would have like bumped into, we might not have gotten shot, but we would have been like entering into kind of a
danger
chaotic
zone. So let us know in the comments if you've ever had any moment like that has saved your life, that has literally saved your life by trusting your intuition and going with that instinct. Let us know in the comments. You don't have to let us know the details unless you want to, but let us know in the comments if you've ever had a moment like that. Trust that intuition.
Because that's important, because that's the foundation of building everything else. It's just that initial flow, that trust, right?
So Aaron says, yep, plenty.
Yep.
Natalia, yes, the last time I didn't trust my intuition, I ran into trouble. 1992, promised to listen to it fully from then on.
Yep,
awesome.
Had those moments when you face planted on the sidewalk because you didn't trust. Everybody can empathize with this, right? So hit that like button and give us some hearts if this is making sense and you're having some aha moments about how you use your intuition. Tip number 2, recognize the difference between instant messages versus seeking signs.
Have you ever acted on impulse without thinking and been amazed at how it turned out? Have you ever had that gut instinct, then you waited too long? Then you went looking for some other sign to get back on track? I think we've all done that at some point.
Right.
That's where we lose trust in ourselves and need that validation. It brings us further away from that sweet spot.
The first one, the instant message, is that instant message, that intuition. That's the first one we follow. The second one, we need the validation.
Following your intuition, when you're following your instinct, when you're following that impulse, it just makes sense. Everything fits, everything flows smoothly.
Right.
It's when you get out of that and you start analyzing too much and getting out of that sweet spot, that's when you start to need more self-trust because you're not trusting that instinct and intuition.
Okay, so we've talked about things like overusing pendulums. Like, you know, pendulums are fun to use. When we overuse them, we get this OCD, like, fear factor around them. I got to keep asking the question. Or we hop around from psychic to psychic to get the answer, to get the answer, to get the answer. We're not in the realm of intuition anymore. We're in the realm of sign seeking, and you've lost touch with the intuition, that instinct and your first impulse. So now you're in the realm of sign seeking, which is, tell me which one is right, someone, versus, oh, I like this one. Let's do that. It feels good. So you're looking for someone else to tell you that you can trust yourself. That's when you leave that sweet spot.
Right. So the key here is to keep it fun, keep it flowing. You trust your intuition by building on more data points of self-trust. The more that you create moments when you trust yourself, when you go with your instinct and validate it afterwards, that's when you build that foundation of self-trust by trusting your instinct and intuition.
Basically, go with your first impulse and follow the data to see why. Let the intuition be the navigator and logic be the driver, because it will usually be spot on and you'll be like, yeah, thanks, intuition. Good job. And then you'll trust yourself more the next time. And once you've built that trust, that's when the fun signs, this is when the fun signs pop up as confirmation, like a license plate in front of you that says, good job, right? And you're like, all right, there's my sign. So we tend to look for those signs like now to confirm my gut instinct, my intuition, instead of seeing it, making the decision, understanding why, because now you get the data points afterwards, like, oh, I see why I chose that, because ...
And there's nothing wrong with getting a second pair of eyes on it, with getting some kind of feedback. It's when you get addicted to not trusting yourself. It's when you're not trusting yourself and you're expecting somebody to give you an answer because you don't know what yours is. That's when you get in trouble. So it's like those race car drivers that review the footage later so that they're free to follow their instinct and intuition in the moment. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Intuition brings cohesion, and that sign seeking brings more chaos.
Ask you guys a question. Which one are you? Are you a drama queen that's like, oh, I got the instinct, now I got to do all this stuff and go kind of crazy and spin in circles? Or are you a fast machine like Steve McQueen, just like, I got it, move, impulse, go and act?
So which one are you? Are you the drama queen that goes bouncing from psychic to psychic, that needs some external validation, always asking your friends, hey, what should I do? What should I wear? What should I eat?
Or have you been? Have you been? I know, I think we've all done that, questioning ourselves. So this isn't like...
Drama queen or fast machine?
This isn't about being perfect. I mean, we've all had moments where we're really confused and cut off, and we're thinking so loud and so chaotically that we can't hear that first impulse of intuition. I think it's always there, but sometimes our mind is so loud, we don't hear it, we don't trust it, we are so disconnected from it.
So Cassidy says, shared, you guys are amazing. Cassidy says, fast machine, but sometimes it's really scary.
Yeah, because you're in a race car, right? Because life is about driving a race car, driving down the track. You're the race car, life is the track.
Nancy says, yes, put something together. Spirit told me not to and showed me what I was going to do wrong. I did it anyway and messed up the way the Spirit said I would.
So, we still got our free will, right? So tip number 3, guys. It doesn't feel like a psychic hit. And this is, I think, the key and the last tip, because this is the thing that throws people off the most. It doesn't feel like a psychic hit.
And I think one of the things that confuses people about feeling and listening to their intuition is that it doesn't feel like that psychic hit because it doesn't come in like fireworks and body convulsions and, oh my God, I'm having something amazing happen right now.
Because it's fast. So it doesn't usually feel like a psychic hit. I'm not going to say always, but usually it's like a fast boom. Hey, let's drive around the block. It feels so natural and so flowing that it doesn't feel like that big kind of, when we're really tapping in and doing some psychic work. So because it doesn't feel like psychic information, even though it really is the most primitive form of psychic information, a lot of people don't give it the same weight because the impulse comes in quietly and they start to question it.
But intuition is at the base of all of the advanced stuff that comes on top of it, with more advanced techniques of clairsentience and claircognizance, for example. All of those are built on the foundation. When you have a solid foundation of intuition and self-trust, then you can build the advanced stuff and it's not going to crumble.
So intuition is the simple, easy flow. Don't get it twisted. Once you try to make it a full-on psychic hit, you are
way past
the pure, uncorrupted instinct of intuition and into the mode of, I am using my intuition now, which is not using intuition. That's trying to make it drama. That's trying to make it a bigger
drama queen.
Right. So like the pro race car drivers, once they start worrying about the past and the future possibility of losing, they are way more likely to what? Lose.
If you pay attention to the wall, if you're worried about the wall, one of these days you're going to hit that wall.
Yep. I think that's the biggie, is that people treat intuition like it's a lot bigger than it is.
That's the biggie.
And they make it like a lot less natural than it should be. Danielle says fast machine self-doubt is the bigger issue for me rather than validation. Here's the thing about self-doubt and intuition. It's because with intuition, it's not a fully formed thought, so there's no time for self-doubt. It's the creating the action after the impulse.
And creating more data points of self-trust that alleviates self-doubt.
So it's the creating the habit of acting fast when you have the intuition. So I think that's, if you wait too long to act on the impulse, then the self-doubt creeps in, and that's when you start psychoping or overusing your pendulum or any of those kinds of things you question. It's that eliminating that time in between the two.
Right.
That makes sense? That's
So
how you work intuition better for you.
Trusting yourself faster. Natalia says, I love how you guys work together and allow each other to speak. Also, your ability to verbalize what I've been feeling is spot on. Thank you. You both rock. Thank you, Natalia. It is great to see you here. Always love that kind of feedback. We do work on that constantly to kind of allow each other breathing room to get thoughts out. Cassidy says, I just quit a job. It was a very toxic environment, and I knew I had to do it. I've known from the start almost 3 years ago, but I did it. I was unemployed for 3 weeks. I am so happy that I did.
I think we're in business like 9 years together with private clients before we started ever deciding to go start making videos. And every morning, 5 o'clock, coffee time, we talk about the issues our clients are having. How can we help them better understand and get to a simple solution?
And how can we help more people with that information?
And so we actually started doing that when we started doing our show, Bedhead Diaries. That's how Bedhead Diaries started, which is way back on our early YouTube videos. We teach people to be authentic. Let's do it in our bedhead. Let's just get up and make videos in the morning based on the questions our clients want to know. So that's how this whole craziness got started.
Yeah, and you can actually still find some of those Bedhead Diaries.
They're all on there. I think all of them are.
But don't hold it against us.
Yeah, there's some, your first video is your worst video.
Yeah.
So as always, we want to give some love back to one of our Zen heads, Michelle. She says, wow, David and Heather's energy is very compatible and comfortable like old friends. Thank you, Michelle. Much love to you. So anyway, we have learned that self-growth and developing your intuition go together like sushi, Sapporo, and sake. We created our signature subscription membership,
Zen Ed Academy, to teach the real stuff, to keep it real. Are you tired of people telling you that the intuitive and mystical arts are satanic?
I'm just going to say that.
Are you ready for intuitive development without judgment?
Are you ready for psychic and mediumship training that doesn't scare the crap out of you?
Zen Ed Academy is where the science of self-growth meets the magic of mysticism.
All the information is down below. If you like this video, click the like button, guys. And for more mind hacking pro tips, be sure to subscribe.
And click the bell to turn notifications on.
So you're the first to know
when we drop a new video. Or
go live.
And we know that time is a valuable and precious resource, and the fact that you guys have chosen to spend that not only with us, but most importantly for yourselves, leveling up your skills, taking your life to a completely new level. We absolutely honor and appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next video.
We'll see you in the next video.